almost everybody, and that's what happens if you've done this twice. We are so excited to be here in New Hampshire and to start a bus tour tomorrow. We're going to be going up and down the state, and we're going to really get everybody excited and all excited about what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks here in the great state of New Hampshire. So we've been working hard, and we're here to earn it now. You all know, I know this guy pretty well. Been married to him for 42 years. We are the proud parents of 5 wonderful sons and 16 terrific grandchildren. And he stood by me in my darkest hour, and I can't wait to see him do what needs to be done in this country, because I think we all recognize that America needs a turnaround, and he's the guy that's going to have to do it. So I'm delighted to introduce to you the next President of the United States.
Being here this evening. I appreciate your coming out on a cold winter night. It's the beginning of, it seems like finally the beginning of winter in New Hampshire. They're going to start making snow at the ski resorts and get people from Massachusetts across the border to come up and ski on the slopes of New Hampshire. And I appreciate your willingness to spend a little time with me this evening. There are a few things I want to say tonight. I want to talk about the choice that I think America is presented in the election of 2012. And I want to have you give some thought to it, and we'll get a chance to talk more about this as the campaign goes on. 6 months ago, as you know, I launched my campaign for the presidency not terribly far from here on a perfect day and a beautiful New Hampshire summer day. I spoke of an America in peril under a president who disappointed even his own supporters and was clearly failing. Since then, as you know, the unemployment rate has remained stubbornly high. More Americans have lost their homes, and more Americans have slipped from the middle class into a world of poverty they never imagined they'd see. Our soldiers return from war, unable to find a decent job. Over the last 6 months, I've traveled up and down New Hampshire and across the country. I've listened to anxious voices in town meetings, visited with students who are frightened by the magnitude of their college loans, but even more frightened by the lack of jobs. From break rooms to back offices, I've heard stories of the great Obama recession, of families getting by on less, of long planned for retirements replaced by 2 jobs at minimum wage. It's a long litany. Dreams deferred, economic stress that quickly becomes family stress. I've heard stories that frankly break my heart. But let me tell you what I rarely heard. Hopelessness. Even in these very difficult times, the worst economy since the Great Depression, I found Americans refusing to believe that these troubled days are our destiny. Sometimes with pride, often with anger, I've heard time and again a constant refrain. This is not the America we love. This is not the America we deserve. This is the America of yesterday, and we will not allow it to become the America of tomorrow. We are Americans, and we will not surrender our dreams to the failures of this president. We're bigger than the misguided policies and weak leadership of one man. America is bigger than Barack Obama's failures. This America of long unemployment lines and small dreams is not the America you and I love. It's not a live free or die America. These troubled years are President Obama's legacy, but they are not our future. This is an election not to replace a president, but to save a vision of America. It's a choice between 2 very different destinies. 4 years ago, many Americans trusted candidate Barack Obama when he promised to bring Americans together. But now we've learned that President Obama's idea of bringing us together is not to lift us up, but instead to use the invisible boot of government to bring us all down. I have a vision of a very different America. An America united not by our limits, but by our ambitions, our hopes, our shared dreams. I'm tired of a president who wakes up every day, looks out across America, and is proud to announce it could be worse. It could be worse? Is that what it means to be an American? It could be worse? Of course not. If I'm president, I will wake up every day and remind Americans that not only must we do better, but also that we can do better, because I believe in America. President Obama boasts that he will fundamentally transform America. I want to restore America to our founding principles. I believe that our founding principles are what made America the greatest nation in the history of the earth. Now, among those core principles is what the founders called the pursuit of happiness. We call that opportunity, or the freedom to choose our course in life. That principle is the foundation of a society that is based on ability, not birthright. In a merit-based society, people achieve their dreams through hard work and education, risk-taking, and even a little luck. An opportunity society produces pioneers and inventors. It inspires its citizens to build and create. And these people exert effort and take risks. And when they do so, they employ and lift others and create prosperity. Their success does not make others poorer. It makes all of us better off. President Obama sees America differently. He believes in an entitlement society. Once we thought that entitlement meant that Americans were entitled to the privilege of trying to succeed in the greatest nation in the world. Americans fought and died to earn and protect that entitlement. But today, the new entitlement battlefield of this president is over the size of the check you can get from Washington. President Obama has reversed John Kennedy's call for sacrifice. He would have Americans now ask, what can the country do for you? Just a couple of weeks ago, in Kansas, President Obama lectured us about Teddy Roosevelt's philosophy of government. But he failed to mention the important difference between Teddy Roosevelt and himself. Roosevelt believed that government should level the playing field to create equal opportunities. President Obama believes that government should create equal outcomes. In an entitlement society, everyone receives the same or similar rewards, regardless of education, effort, and willingness to take risks. That which is earned by some is redistributed to others. And the only people who truly enjoy real rewards are those who get to do the redistributing. Government. The truth is that everyone may get the same rewards under that kind of system, but virtually everyone will be worse off. President Obama's entitlement society would demand a massive growth of government. To preserve opportunity, however, we have to shrink government, not grow it. Last month, I laid out specific solutions to the spending crisis we're facing, including the need to reform fundamentally Medicare for the coming generations. I'm very pleased to see that Wisconsin's Congressman Paul Ryan got together with Democratic Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon and pushed a similar Medicare reform package that I hope will save this very important and critical program. But this is more than a spending crisis that we face. Even if we can afford the ever-expanding payments of an entitlement society, it is a fundamental corruption of the American spirit. The battle we face today is more than a fight over our budget. It is a battle for America's soul. We can't begin to answer the question of who should be our next president until we start asking ourselves, who are we as Americans? And what kind of America do we want for our children? I know that my answers to those questions are very different than the current president of the United States. President Obama has spent the last 35 months building a government so large that feeding it will consume a greater and greater share of our paychecks. And does anybody believe in America that they're better off than they were 4 years ago? No. Yeah, he pushed through Obamacare. It's an entitlement program we didn't want, and we can't afford. He refused to advance a responsible plan to strengthen existing entitlements. Instead of fostering competition and choice, he's cultivating government dependence. President Obama talks about a country where everyone plays by the same rules, but when it comes to his favorite friends, he makes sure the rules don't apply. He's given his supporters waivers exempting them from the burden of Obamacare. His NLRB bullies businesses when they don't bow to union demands. And in the energy industry, he's picked the winners, who, by the way, turned out to be the losers, like Solyndra. That's how an entitlement society works, by the way. Those in government control, those that have the resources and make the rules, get to take care of their friends. And while the rest of us stand still, they make sure that their friends get ahead. The result of President Obama's approach is a staggering list of failures. It took 18 tax increases just to get Obamacare off the ground. Our growing welfare state is slated to cost $10.3 trillion over the next 10 years. That's $72,000 a household. I'll take a different path. First, I'll repeal Obamacare. You've heard me say this before. On the first day as president, I'll issue waivers from Obamacare to all 50 states. And I will strengthen Medicare by empowering the next generation of seniors to choose the solutions that are right for them. And I'll send Medicaid back to the states because the states know best how to serve their own citizens. My administration will create an environment where the private sector can thrive and where American businesses can reach their full potential. I'll reduce federal regulation, open up new markets to our goods, and fully exploit our energy resources. I'll cut taxes, cap spending, and finally, get America on track to balance our budget. Now this time next year, all the yard signs will have come down, hopefully. Town hall meetings will be about local budgets, not about the defense budget or Medicare. It'll be safe to watch television again. At least for a little while. Americans will have made their choice. The path I lay out is not one paved with ever-increasing government checks and cradle-to-grave assurances that government will always be the solution. If this election is a bidding war for who can promise more benefits, that's a battle I'm not going to join. This will be a campaign about the soul of America, about American greatness. I'm confident that Americans won't settle for an excuse like this. It could be worse. I'm confident that Americans will refuse to be bought off by cheap promises that turn into never-ending debts for our children and grandchildren. This is a time when we look beyond who we are today and ask, who will we become tomorrow? Not far from here, an idea called America was born. Came in a moment when a peaceful people realized they could not continue on the same path. Those farmers and merchants, aristocrats, blacksmiths, they put aside their fears to take up arms against the greatest power in the entire world. There was not a single rational reason to believe they could succeed. But they believed in God, and they believed in themselves. They believed that the guiding force in their lives should not be fear, but rather a strong belief that life without freedom is slow death, and a abiding conviction that they could build a better world. That world is America. Here in New Hampshire, in Iowa, South Carolina, Florida, Michigan, across the country, we're at the beginning of a democratic process that those early patriots risked all to secure for us. This is the moment when we reject failure and commit to make the disappointments of the past few years only a detour, not a destination. We believe in America. We believe America can do better because we believe in America. And tonight I ask each of you to remember how special it is to be an American. I want you to remember what it was like to be hopeful and excited about the future, not to dread each new headline. When you spend more time looking for a house to buy than searching for a new job. When you spend more time thinking about a vacation with your family than how to make it at the end of the next paycheck. That America is still out there. An America when you weren't afraid to look at your retirement savings or the price at the pump. An America when you never had to wake up to hear a president apologizing for America. I say let's fight for that America. The America that brings out the best in each of us, that challenges us to be better and bigger than ourselves. This election, let's fight for the America we love. because we believe in America. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for that. That was a generous response, and I appreciate it. I wanted to get a chance to really talk to you about the choice I think we face. I think our president is turning us into a European-style nation, and I want America to hold true to the principles that made us the great nation we are. And that's what I think this campaign is about, whether we're going to remain a merit society, an opportunity society, or instead become an entitlement society. I fear for an America that would take that course, and I think we'll reject it. I wanted to say tonight how much I appreciate your being here. There are some who came a long way. Judd and Kathy Gregg, your former senator, a great American, a great patriot, a Yankee through and through. Senator Gregg, thank you for being here tonight. Executive Council member Ray Wazorek. How many years, Ray, have you been on the Executive Council? 10 years. That is yeoman's responsibility and duty. We appreciate your service in making sure we balance budgets in New Hampshire and set an example for the rest of the states around you. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate your help. And so we don't have a long time to go. It's getting close now. I think Christmas is coming soon, right? We wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and Happy Hanukkah and all the holidays that are celebrated in this great land. But your primary is coming up real soon, and I'd like to win. And there are a lot of good people running for president on our side of the aisle. And I think any one of them would be better than the current president. I just think I'm in the best position to post up against a president who's had no experience in the private sector and doesn't know how the economy works. I do, and that's one reason why I'm in this race. But I need your help. We've got a few advertisements up, and we're going to keep doing that, and people are going to hear our message. But you guys need to get out and ask a friend or two to make sure and vote on primary day. We just can't do that all ourselves, even with our office and volunteers. We need you guys to hit the phones and to get friends to vote on primary day. It's not that far away. Get your phone warmed up for this, because it's some real work, and you may need to do a couple of door knocking sessions as well. But we're going to be out on the trail. You'll see us on the bus. I think tomorrow we start in Keene, New Hampshire. We'll be going all over the state over the next couple of weeks. We want to win in New Hampshire, and you're going to help us send a
A lot of people actually really good.